1, 2, 3.
To get started, let's go into Google and search for Unsplash. This is where you'll get any royalty-free images, meaning that you don't have to pay to use them and they aren't copyrighted. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description to the image that I've used. Now you've got your photo saved, head over to Procreate, click the little spanner icon in the top left corner and click Insert Image. This is how you add any image from your photo gallery to the app. Then click on the little arrow at the top left and resize the image so that it fits onto your page perfectly. From here, you'll want to click on the wand at the top left, which will add a drop-down menu for adjustments. Click onto the hue, saturation and brightness and put the saturation right the way down so it's almost completely black and white. Then you can lock that layer and add in a new one and make sure your colour is on black. Double click on the layer and fill the page so that the page is completely black, and then go to rubbers and click the soft blend brush. Start from the centre of the page and make a little circle slowly going out towards the outside of the page, getting softer and softer with pressure until you have what looks like a spotlight effect on the wall. Then change the opacity of the page to around 80%, just so that the brick on the darker parts of the image start to show through. To change the opacity of the layer, use 2 fingers and double click on it. This way it'll come up on the page and you can use your finger to slide it back in 2. Then group both of those pages together and create a new one. Once you have your new page created, you then want to go into the brush library, click on calligraphy and look for the monoline brush. Change the colour of the brush so it is pure white. This is where you draw whatever you want your neon light to be. Now duplicate that layer 3 times so that you have 4 of the same image. Make sure to click onto that bottom layer and hide the other 3. Change your colour to black and then fill in the line of what you've just drawn. Now lock that layer as it is not needed until later. Now click onto the second layer down, making sure that it's in view, and change the colour of the lines, the same as the shadow layer, to any sort of neon colour that you want to use. Then lock that layer and do the same again with the third layer down, using a slightly darker colour than the original colour that you first picked. So now we'll do a quick run through. The first layer is going to stay white, the second layer is going to be changed ever so slightly to be blurred, the third will be blurred a little bit more, and then the bottom layer is your shadow layer, which will stay underneath. From here, click on your top layer and click on the little N at the right side and drag that bar right the way down until you can find luminosity. Staying on that same layer, go back to your wand and go to Gaussian blur. Drag the bar until you get to about 1.5. This will add just ever so slightly of a blur around the edge of those lines. From here, lock that first layer and go on to your third layer down and get ready to start the Gaussian blur effect. So same again, go to your little wand, adjustments, Gaussian blur, and drag that bar to anywhere between 15 and 20, maybe a little bit less depending on the brightness of your screen. Then you can lock that layer and click onto the second layer and do the exact same again. Go on to adjustments, Gaussian blur, and then change it to between 10 and 15, same as last time, maybe a little bit less for you depending on the brightness of your screen. Then lock it, duplicate it, and then you can add all of those pages together to create a bigger brightness. Then from here, add a new layer, drop it underneath your colours and make sure it's just above the shadow. Change the colour back to something bright, and then go to your brushes and look for something that's soft and blended. Normally this will be in the airbrush category. Change the sizing so that it's not too big but more like a medium size, and just draw around the image that you've just drawn to add a bit of an extra glow. From here you want to go up to the wand, adjustments, Gaussian blur again, make sure it's for the whole layer, and drag that bar to anywhere between 30 and 50 depending on the size of the brush that you used. This is to add extra glow behind the image, but we will be dropping the opacity soon. If the glow is a little bit too big, you can use the arrow in the top corner and make it smaller like you can see I'm doing here. Now click onto that layer, use your two fingers and tap, and then change the opacity to drop it right down. Anything that you think might look good. Some people like it a bit brighter, some people like it a little bit less. It depends on your preference really. As you can see, I've gone for 34%. Now you want to go onto the fourth layer, the one that we were using as a shadow, unlock it, click on that little arrow and drag it down towards any of the sides. Just make sure that it looks like it's an actual shadow, so it looks like the actual neon light isn't on the wall anymore. And then go to adjustments, Gaussian blur, and then change it to anywhere between 2 and 3% just to blur it out a little bit. If you want to add a little bit extra to your image, you can add a new layer, change the colour to black, go onto the calligraphy settings and click on the monoline brush again, and just draw some little wires coming off any parts of your image that aren't touching. This just gives it a little bit extra effect to make it look like it's actually being plugged into something, and a lot of people like it. So this is the finished result. Let me know how you get on. If you were able to follow this tutorial and create something yourself, please don't hesitate to tag me on Instagram and show me everything you created. I love seeing it all. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for any more tutorials coming soon.